I'm Conor. I'm the founder of CC Styling and Performance and Leveling Up with CC. Today I'm here at Marbella Motorsports. I am with Beyond the Success to share my success story. What made me want to start in the automotive industry at a very young age, from the age of 12, 13, just the love for cars. I didn't have any in my family that loved cars. It was just natural. It came out of nowhere. I guess just seeing fast cars, just seeing how cars were built, just made me want to actually work with them. So at a young age, I started working on cars when I was 13. And as time went on, I naturally grew the love for cars. Of course, I still haven't got the passion that I used to have today, simply because when you're working on 10, 12 cars a day, every day, 52 weeks a year, 7, 8 years straight, you lose a bit of the love. But since I've come to Marbella, that has all just come back in absolute bundles, so it has. My why is simply because I loved cars when I was younger. And if you're the same and you love cars, it should be something you should follow. How I started getting my first few clients, it was as easy as this, basically. Get a couple of jobs in, my own cars, friends' cars, just tricking around with them, doing the modifications. And then of course, your phone. Your phone is your best friend. Your phone is one way to show the world what you do. Without having a phone, without having social media, I don't think you can get any product out there. Not anymore anyway, maybe years ago. But now I think, looking back, it was my phone that basically got me my clients. You know, I showcased my job, how I done it, and basically how I can make it easier for people to get this service. You know, drop your vehicle off, come back in an hour, your vehicle's ready. So for me, getting my first couple of clients, it was just hustling, maybe printing a couple of leaflets, business cards, whacking them on the back of windscreens, on the front of windscreen, sorry, approaching people on streets, saying what I do. So it wasn't easy getting my first few clients. I'll always remember they were the hardest ones, because I remember after a couple of weeks, I had no leads. But that's where you don't give up. And once you don't give up, you'll always get results eventually. For me, the main one was the GOAT, Mat Armstrong. As everyone knows, the way he transforms a vehicle, the way he gets it from, you know, crash to basically looking brand new, but better. So Matt, watching him grow up, he was in the same position. He went into Halfords, he bought a toolbox and a jack, and off he went in the car park. So for me, it was the exact same. Walking at the side of my road at the age of 16, cars were passing on a daily basis, just watching me. Yeah, my inspiration was Matt. So watching him on his YouTube videos and learning his skill, and basically self-learning myself as well, and just learning from my mistakes as I went. So yeah, I realized this could be my job when 2-3 clients came back for repeated work. So it's one thing doing one job in a vehicle for one customer, but if the customer comes back a second time, it's pretty much trust. So I sold the whole trust brand, and I'll never forget when that customer came back for the second job, saying how happy they were with the first job. I said, you know what? I've got something here. If customers are after coming back a second time, you know, every other customer is going to come back. So therefore, I got continued work, and I got consistent money coming back in. After 8 years of working on vehicles, what keeps me motivated? Winning. Simple as that. You know, if you get up every day and you stack all your wins, you know, every day you keep stacking them wins, of course you're going to have motivation, you know. If you're waking up every day and you're losing and you're bollocksing about and you're not doing what you should be doing, of course you're not going to be motivated. But it's simple, you know, wake up, appreciate what you got, and basically seeing how far you've come, and you're like, right, okay, I've came this far, why can't I go further? So for me, waking up every day and just basically being grateful for what I have, that alone will always keep me motivated, because I've got family, and I have a future family as well, so you've no reason not to be motivated. Secondly, what also keeps me motivated is my mentorship program, where I train all my clients. I've got clients in 4 different countries. We've only started this about 4 months ago, so waking up to some really heartfelt messages from some of the clients every day is what is my big motivation. So, of course, it gets to a point where I'm like, yeah, you're not going to be motivated every single day in the car industry, but seeing other people win from what I learned them, that has to be one of the biggest motivations. And for me, with the clients, getting texts saying, "Hi Conor, I made this so much, I made this much," but it's real life money. We're helping the clients make money, making clients see their potential as well. Putting someone on the right path. For me, growing up, I didn't have the right path in regards to business. I didn't have any business mentors. I didn't have anyone to tell me what to do and what not to do in business. So, yeah, my biggest motivation would basically be watching other people grow. And a lot of people say, how can you get motivation off that? For me, it's being someone that people can come to for advice of where I was years ago, where I didn't have the advice years ago. And now being able to offer that advice to young people, not even young people, middle-aged people. I've people from the age of 16 right up to 50 in my mentorship program. So even having them on that alone is motivation. The hardest part of the journey so far, for me, there was no, of course, everyone has got hard times in business, but when you have the correct structure in place, you're not going to have as much problems. So it is all down to structure. But for me, starting off, not knowing if the brand was going to work, pumping in so much money, also carrying a lot of staff, a lot of rent, a lot of wages to be paid out, that comes with a lot of pressure. It means that people are depending on you, their families depend on you. So it means you got to show up every day. Even the days you don't feel like going to work, it's not yourself. You've also got other people. You've got your staff, you've got your employees. They're all depending on you. Their families depend on you. And chances are their kids are also depending on you as well. So for me, you won't have as much struggle if you can structure your plan going forward. So it's all down to structure. Managing 3 companies, it's tough. So we've got one here in Spain, Marbella. We've got one back home in Ireland, headquarters. And right now we're currently working inside Perth. So we haven't got our actual shop set up in Perth, but the foundation has started about 6 months ago. We have one of our guys in our mentorship courses. We're working alongside him. We're sending parts out on a weekly basis, and we have a lot of jobs lined up there in the next month or so. We will be looking at our premises within the next 3 months. So, of course, having 3 locations, all over the world is tough at the age of 25, but it comes with growth. Structure means scale, and we have a good structure in place, which means we can always scale. But different time zones, having to not go to sleep till maybe 3 or 4 most nights, waking up at 6 or 7, getting 3-4 hours sleep a night, it's not ideal, but it's not permanent. If you do this for a couple of years, you can set a system up that will make it work for the rest of its life. So for me, it's just putting in the work now over the next couple of years and having a system that will just make it work. So I will be planning a 4th location very, very soon, but it's like everything else. If you go into it too much, you're not going to give it your all. But right now, 3 locations, I'd be lying if I said it was easy. I'd be lying. It's tough. It breaks you down mentally, physically, but the end goal, I think it's really worth it. So yeah, that is one of my biggest dreams, was having locations worldwide. And at the age of 25, I've basically completed that. So it's one thing completing it, but keeping it steady and always rising is very important. I'd always recommend for people to take them risk. I'm 25, so taking that risk when you're 25, if it doesn't work out, well, I tried. It's better than taking a risk at 25 than taking it at 45. So people ask why I take on with so much. It's because these are the years you should be taking on with so much. If you're 25, go with it. If it doesn't work, you try it. Go again. Try your next thing. So for me, it's all about taking them risks. So for me, I've taken the risk and they have paid off as of now. But anyone that's listening, yeah, your younger years is where you should be taking these risks. And if it goes south, well, hi, it went south. So if I had to start from zero again, I'd kind of grab myself, give myself a slap in the back of the head and say, just go for it. There is no right time. So never wait for the right time, because the right time actually never comes. It's starting when you feel uncomfortable. and putting yourself in that situation. So just kind of have a look into your future. Can you see yourself with that business? Can you see yourself working in that business? Just ask yourself them few questions. Is that what I want to do? On that side of things, basically just take the risk. So if I start from zero, I just plan out my journey and just go straight into it. Yeah, I took a risk when I was young and I went all in. I dived in. Of course, no one sees the pressure of it. No one sees the pressure when you're this young and trying to manage multiple companies all over the world. But yeah, it does feel pretty nice, because when you're looking at your hard work pay off, it does look pretty nice. But to anyone that's watching, it certainly doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy. Long nights, sleepless nights, pressure every single day. But I find without the pressure, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know, I wouldn't have multiple locations. You need the pressure. Without pressure, you're basically not going to, you're going to be comfortable. So for me, it's being uncomfortable every day. So for me being uncomfortable, it makes me make the move that I didn't want to make yesterday. Yeah, basically, look, there's people twice my age that haven't taken the risk, but the only difference is I took the risk when I was younger. And back to this theory of taking a risk and making it pay off. Then yeah, if anyone puts their mind to it, if you're young, you've got a dream, you've got a goal, the only thing against you is time. So you just gotta go all in and take the risk. So thanks to Alfie and George from Beyond the Success for having me on this. Even looking at what they're doing at the minute is giving me inspiration. It's giving me inspiration to talk here, and me being able to talk here is giving other people some really good advice and people being able to take from it. So also, I'd like to thank them two guys for making this happen.